Hi, I'm Jessica Rosado.
And I'm Shansi Lizardi, and this is NBC News.
Today is December 6, 1933, and Prohibition has come to its end. The 21st Amendment was ratified, repealing the 18th Amendment, which states, after 1 year from the ratification of this article, the manufacture, sale, or transportation of intoxicating liquors within the importation into or the exportation from the United States and all territories subject to the jurisdiction for beverage purposes is hereby prohibited.
After more than a decade of illegal bootlegging and raids, alcohol and the sale of alcohol is legal once again. Let's start from the beginning and look back on the years of Prohibition. On January 16, 1919, Prohibition was set in motion. Alcohol was dumped into rivers and sewers immediately.
Raids were conducted throughout the United States whenever the police had reason to believe that a crime was being committed, including Miami, Philadelphia, Boston, New York, and Detroit. Detroit, Michigan was most known for the raids and the illegal buying and selling of alcohol, mainly because rum runners used the Detroit River, Lake St. Clair, and the St. Clair River. These waters carry 75% of the liquor supplied to the United States during Prohibition.
Cargo was dragged beneath boats and around tunnels from boathouse to boathouse where reopened sunken house boats hid underwater cable delivery systems. Even the pipelines were built. Between Petro Island and the foot of Alta Road, an electronically controlled cable hauled metal cylinders that filled up to 50 gallons of booze. A pipeline was constructed between a distillery in Windsor and Detroit bottlers.
A famous bootlegger and lawyer named George Remus moved to Cincinnati to set up a drug and alcohol company in order to gain illegal access of bonded liquor in 1920. George Remus had over 3,000 employees and did millions of dollars worth of business every day. In 1925, George Remus was indicted for violating the Volstead Act 3,000 times. He was sentenced 2 years in federal prison, and when he got out, he shot his wife for betraying him.
Al Capone was another bootlegger, rum runner, gang member, leader of the mafia, you name it. He's known for his multi-million-dollar Chicago operation in bootlegging, prostitution, and gambling, which dominated the organized crime scene. The Purple Gang was run by members of Detroit's Bernstein family. Al Capone used the Bernsteins to distribute whiskey rather than fight for Detroit territory. Capone was responsible for many violent acts. The most known was the Valentine's Day Massacre in 1929, where he ordered the assassination of 7 of his rivals. Al Capone was never jailed, but was finally brought to justice for income tax evasion in 1931.
Alcohol was a serious matter. It was illegal, but so many people wanted it, they would do anything to get it. Many people made simple devices and crafts in order to smuggle liquor. Moonshiners used cow shoes to hide their footprints from Prohibition agents in 1922. And soon enough, even dogs were being trained to sniff out alcohol.
There were also rallies and protests against the ban on liquor.
Just like the one in Detroit, Michigan, held at City Hall in 1929, where people held up signs that read, "I can't give milk, the dry move stole my food," and "I am a veteran and a bartender, the dry move stole my job." Referring to Prohibition as the dry move, many people did what they could to try and get liquor back into their lives legally.
As of 5:32 p.m., Utah became the 36th state to ratify the 21st Amendment, which repealed the 18th Amendment and achieved the 3/4 majority of states' approval. Now alcohol is completely legal, and you can buy and sell liquor once again.
As Al Capone once said, all I do is to supply a public demand. Somebody had to throw some liquor on that thirst. Why not me? Again, I'm Jessica Rosado.
And I'm Shansi Lizardi. See you next time on NBC News. Legal.